Welcome back. Today, we're wrapping up our Belize Adventure series with a 2-for-1 flight review. First, we're hopping on Tropic Air's brand new Cessna Grand Caravan to get from Ambergris Caye to the mainland. Then, we're flying first class on a Delta A321 to Atlanta. But here's the catch. This return journey was way less premium than the flight down, and we're going to show you exactly why you might want to save your money before booking this seat. From stunning Caribbean views to a first-class meal that was, well, a bit sad, come along for the ride. Welcome to Travel at Random. We're Ryan and Trevor. This channel started out of a love of travel. We're here to share unbiased and self-funded trip reports, hotel and flight reviews, and travel advice. We hope we inspire your next getaway. We have dozens of videos, so for even more content, check out the playlist in the description and browse the channel. If you enjoy this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. You can also check out our channel memberships here and on Patreon for even more content. Thank you for watching. Welcome to part 4 of our Belize Adventure series. We're just wrapping up a week-long visit here in Belize. We started in the rainforest at the Gaia River Lodge before heading down here to Ambergris Caye for some time at the beach. If you haven't checked out the other Belize Adventure videos, we'll link to that playlist in the description. We really enjoyed this trip. We're starting our journey today in San Pedro. This small town is located on Ambergris Caye, an island off the coast of mainland Belize. We just got dropped off at the airstrip by our hotel. Our first flight home starts here at John Grief II Airport, code SPR. There are 2 buildings, one for each airline operating out of the airport, Maya Island Air and Tropic Air, who we're flying with today. Tropic Air is one of the local Belizean air carriers, and they primarily serve Belize, but they do operate flights to Guatemala and Honduras. We booked our tickets directly with Tropic Air. We found their website easy to use, and the booking process was straightforward. We did print out our joint boarding pass as a precaution. Check-in desks are just inside the terminal building. The process was quick, but make sure you arrive with plenty of time. If it's busy, you might have a bit of a wait. Our passports were checked, and our printed boarding passes seemed to speed things up. Like any other flight, checked bags are tagged at the counter and taken to the plane. Our tickets included 1 checked item each, up to 50 pounds, and 1 carry-on item, up to 15 pounds. Just a helpful note, your carry-on will sit in your lap. There is no underseat storage. You are given a color-coded reusable boarding pass, and then you'll head over to security. This is a simple process, and they'll do a quick search of your carry-on and a quick pass with a handheld metal detector. The Tropic Air terminal has 2 levels with lots of seating. It is air-conditioned and has some good views of the only runway. There are bathrooms, a water cooler, and plenty of power outlets. There are 2 gates, A and B. Overall, the space was much nicer than we'd expected. Our 13-minute flight today takes us 35 miles from John Grief II Airport to Belize City International Airport on board a Cessna Grand Caravan EX. Our plane, HJE, is their newest plane and just entered service in January of 2026. We booked a 9:30 a.m. flight today. Tropic Air flies this route about every 30 minutes during the day. Since we were there early, we got moved up to the 9 a.m. flight. About 15 minutes before departure, our boarding color was called and we made our way to the aircraft. There's room for 14 passengers on board, including 1 in the co-pilot seat. There are 4 additional rows, then a massive amount of legroom and a final 3-person bench. Seats are assigned at boarding, and they pretty much assign seats based on how tall we were. We did appreciate the extra headroom. First class here means riding in the co-pilot seat. In economy, there's a seat, a 3-point seatbelt, overhead reading light, and, surprisingly, an air vent. Within a few minutes, we were all situated. The door was closed and the plane made a quick turn, and we were first in line for takeoff. The entertainment on board is a stunning view. If you're lucky enough to get assigned to the window, that is. We were placed further back in the cabin since we were taller. There is more headroom near the center of the cabin. This flight was too short for service, and there isn't room for a flight attendant anyway. A few short minutes later, we were landing. The only bumps encountered as we came over land. We taxied to the end of the terminal. We thought Tropic Air was great. Even if you're worried about being in a small plane, it was reasonably spacious, and the plane was comfortable and stable. Their booking process was easy, they were professional, and if you need to fly between cities in Belize, we'd fly them again. Upon arrival, everyone is escorted to the terminal and the bags are hand-delivered back to us. Alright, now welcome to Philip S.W. Goldson International Airport, BZE for short. Our flight arrived into the recently renovated Terminal 1. Terminal 2 is under construction. The Delta check-in desks are right next to the area where Tropic Air dropped us off. With our first-class tickets, we were able to use the Sky Priority lanes, which today saved quite a bit of time. The terminal can get a little cramped during peak times. Before leaving Belize, there's a customs departure form that you need to complete. This can be done online, and a QR code with a link was available at the Delta desk. After getting our boarding passes, we went through 2 quick customs checks. There were no lines this morning, but we may have beat the rush, judging from the check-in lines we passed. We ended up here earlier than planned, about 9:10 in the morning, and most flights depart around noon or 1 p.m. All in all, we were through everything in just about 10 minutes.
So we made it to the Belize International Airport. What'd you think of that Tropic Air flight?
The Tropic Air flight was very comfortable. I was surprised. We came in on that little airplane.
Yes.
So I kind of expected the experience to be similar to that, but it was a lot more stable and had a lot more amenities.
Beautiful view. The flight only takes like 13 minutes from takeoff to touchdown.
I don't think we ever went over like 1,000 feet.
No, the pilot keeps it low, so that was fun. And the flight was comfortable.
It was comfortable.
If you are concerned about small planes, those caravans are pretty smooth. Just a couple of minor bumps.
There are no lounges here, but there are a handful of shops and places to grab a quick bite. There are the obligatory duty-free stores as well. Just a reminder, if you have a connection in the US, if you buy liquids in duty-free, you'll have to move them into your checked bag when you land in the US. There's one larger pizzeria restaurant, and most things were already open at 9 a.m. There are plenty of seats, but as we waited for our 12:40 departure, it got quite crowded. The second leg of our trip today will take 3 hours and 3 minutes for the 1,139-mile flight from Belize City to Atlanta, Georgia, on board a Delta Airbus A321 in first class.
We did do a review of the flight coming down, but we wanted to do the review of the flight going back because when Delta flies to some of these Caribbean outstations, the experience is not as good on the way back for a couple of reasons, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
There are no jet bridges at this airport, so we're boarding via stairs, but it gives us a good chance to check out our plane for today. Boarding is done from both the front and rear doors and started well over an hour before departure. This aircraft features 5 rows of first class and a 2-2 layout for a total of 20 seats. There are also 35 Comfort Plus and 136 main cabin seats. We're in seats 3A and 3B today. Bottles of water were waiting for us at our seats along with complimentary earbuds. The earbuds are for the IFE system and are free in all cabins. These first class seats have been in use for a while, and you'll find them on a number of aircraft. They're 21 inches wide and have the standard 37 inches of pitch between the seats. There are individual overhead air vents and reading lights. The headrest is adjustable and each seat has a decent amount of recline. There isn't much in terms of storage, just the pouch in front of your seat. There's a small extending tray that can hold a pair of drinks, and the full tray table extends from the armrest. Each seat has its own universal power outlet, and there's a USB-A port on the IFE. There were no pre-departure beverages served today. The flight attendant did take drink and meal orders on the ground, and we'll talk more about the food in a moment. Boarding wrapped up quickly, and we were soon pushing back and heading to the runway. This first-class cabin features 13.3-inch touchscreen monitors. They're bright, crisp, and very responsive. The system on board our flight features hundreds of movies and TV episodes, as well as live TV. You also find music and a flight tracker. This is not the latest system, but does have Delta Sync, which allows you to log in and save movies and TV shows to your profile. The screens don't support Bluetooth, which is available on some of the newer Delta aircraft, like the A321neo. As we mentioned, if you forget to bring your headphones on board, Delta does offer free earbuds in both first class and economy. Wi-Fi is available on this plane. It's free if you have a Delta SkyMiles account. It was a bit slow today and did cut out when we were over the Gulf. About 45 minutes after takeoff, drinks were brought out, and then shortly after, the meal service began. At the beginning of this video, we mentioned the flight is less premium than the flight down to Belize. Meal service is where things get interesting. Delta normally allows you to pre-book your meal a week prior to your flight, but not on this one. In fact, you can't even order a special meal, so if you have dietary restrictions, you're just out of luck. Unfortunately, coming from these small outstations, there's no catering. The meals were preloaded in Atlanta for the return trip. This means they are a big step down from the normal meal service. There were two options for today, a vegetarian caprese sandwich and a Cuban-style chicken sandwich. These are served with a tiny bag of potato chips and a chocolate cookie bar. Since we knew the limited selections on this flight, Ryan asked the flight attendant to remove his cheese before she heated up his sandwich. The sandwiches were fine, but aside from being warm, it probably would have been better to just pick up a sandwich at the airport. The flight attendant didn't proactively check in on refills, and there was no snack basket on this flight. As an out-and-back flight, this plane is only catered in Atlanta, so the return trip usually suffers. Fresh food is limited, and if the folks heading out were partying, well, the selection of drinks can be limited as well. They will often run out of alcohol. If you're splurging on a first-class ticket and expecting an amazing experience, just be prepared that the outbound flight will likely be better catered than the return. This meal was, well, just sad. We realized there are challenges in small outstation airports, but this experience was not great. The flight was uneventful, and we ended up arriving about 30 minutes earlier than expected. While the food and the service experience wasn't great, this was a quick flight, and the seat and onboard entertainment were good. Each of our Delta tickets were $1,290, round trip from DCA to BZE and back. Aside from extra space, this leg of the trip wasn't really worth the upgrade. If you're planning a trip to a smaller destination in Central America or the Caribbean, just keep in mind that the experience home is likely going to be a bit disappointing. Save the extra money and book Comfort Plus. Use the extra money to enjoy a nice last meal out, and maybe grab a sandwich at the airport. Thanks for making it to the end of the video and to the end of our Belize Adventure series. Please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to stay up with our latest content and video releases. Both of these things really help out the channel. This was our first time in Belize, and we're glad we went. Our adventure took us from the jungle to the beach. We canoed through an ancient Mayan burial cave, visited the Mayan ruins at Caracol, hiked to the waterfall at Big Rock, soaked up some sun at Secret Beach, and kayaked in the turquoise waters of the Caribbean. Exploring new places and cultures is what excites us about travel, and we're thrilled we got to bring you along for this journey. Thank you for watching. On to the next adventure.